All right, we are recording and we are live. And welcome everybody. If this is your first time here, we're so happy to have you here on our Wednesday night healthy hangout. Pam has a great topic she's going to share. And and then we're going to start with the testimonial, right? And that's going to be me. So so I'm going to share my story with all of you. Um, so I would go clothes shopping and I would go into the dressing room, and if a pair of pants would zip up and I could button them, I would buy them. It didn't matter what they looked like. It didn't matter if I liked them. If they fit, I would just buy them. And actually, then I would go in the car and I'd be really sad. I'd get home and I'd cry. And my husband would say, "What is the matter?" And it was like, eh, just eh, I'm buying clothes and I don't like them. And the only reason I'm buying them is that I can get something maybe to fit because I was having such trouble finding clothes that would fit. I was always very thin growing up. When I went off to college, I was a dance major, so I was very, very skinny. I had my son Jonathan and I started to put weight on. But back then, I knew what to do and I could do it and I did it and I lost a lot of weight. But then as I got older, I started to gain more and more weight. And it got to a point where I was having some health issues. I ended up taking 6 to 8 Tums a day for heartburn. And I thought that was going to be my food of choice. That was going to be like every day, 6 to 8 Tums. I also would wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air, thinking that I was going to die. And so it made it very, very scary to go to sleep at night because I thought I was going to die. And then to boot, I would then drift off finally to fall asleep when my husband would nudge me and he would be like, "Stop making so much noise." Um, because I've made a lot of noise. And I would say, "I can't." And he'd say, "Well, try." And I said, "But it's physiological." He says, "Well, stop." And I'm like, "I can't." So then I would drift back off to sleep a bit and then he would wake me up again. Well, that was just not a very pleasant sleeping experience for quite some time. We were both not getting very much sleep. And between those health issues and the sleep issues, it really wasn't great. Plus, I didn't feel very good about the way I looked. So I went to a Chamber of Commerce event and I met my coach, Ms. Amy Goober. We kind of passed each other and exchanged business cards, and then we decided we would meet a couple of weeks later. I looked at her card the day I was going to meet her, and I thought, I don't know what the heck she does. I cannot figure this out. I'm not sure why I'm meeting with her, but I thought, okay, I'll go. You never heard me say it. And I went, and she told me about Optavia, and it sounded so simple that I could even do it. So I started the program middle of December of 2016, right before my sister was getting married for the second time, right before the holidays, right before I was having friends staying with me from Kuala Lumpur who were foodies because everything they posted on Facebook was food. And I decided to start right then and there. And within about 4 or 5 days, I stopped taking Tums, and I haven't had a Tums since mid-December of 2016. I don't wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air, and that stopped almost immediately. And I do still make some noise when I sleep, but I am not as noisy as I was. So we're all happy about that. My husband has said I even purr. Isn't that cute? Um, but I started to lose weight and I lost 40 pounds in about 4 months. And I've been able to keep most of it off for now almost 4 years. And I put a little bit on, but for the most part, it's off. And then I was asked by Jen and Amy if I would want to coach. And I was truly flattered by that because I was just really flattered. And I thought, wow. And I said yes. And so I love doing what I'm doing in paying it forward, helping other people see that they can make a difference in their lives. And really, probably one of the best decisions I ever made, because look at this wonderful community that I feel a part of, and look at what I've been able to do physically for myself as well as here. And I just couldn't be happier with that decision, and the people that I have met here who have become truly, truly friends, even in square boxes. And I can't wait to meet so many of you once COVID is over and we can all get together some way. So thank you so much for letting me share my story. And I will let Pam, thank you. Oh, I love applause because I do theater. So bring it on. No, I will let Pam take over and do her thing because she's got some great information for us.
Hello, everybody. So I was going to do a PowerPoint, but then I decided against it. And I'll tell you why. Because all the information I got on this talk that I'm doing came straight from our books. How many of us actually use our books, Dr. Anderson? I mean, honest hand, who uses the books? Good. So there's a wealth of information in there. And so it kind of leads me to answer some questions. First of all, the first thing I was going to cover, and it kind of ties all into everything in the end, is do we know what it means to be a low glycemic index choice? Do we know what that means? So the first thing that we talk about is what is glycemic index, and it's a measure. It's an index that's from 0 to 99, and it's a measure of how fast and how much a food causes your blood sugar to rise. Again, it's measured from a scale of 0 to 99. So let's just use an example, a tablespoon of sugar, okay, it's pure sugar. You eat that, the index on that is probably about 99 to 100. It's a very high glycemic index food. It's going to cause your blood sugar to spike high, spike quickly. And then what happens when something spikes? It's got to come back down. And as it comes back down, your body interprets that as your blood sugar dropping. So your body's the whole point of your body is to send messages to protect you from things like your blood sugar falling. So it's going to start sending messages from your brain to your stomach. Oh God, the blood sugar's falling. You know, warning, warning, we need food. So your tummy starts to grumble, you start getting hungry, you start to crave, and it can cause you to binge eat. Okay, so we want, the goal on our plan, as you well know, is stable blood sugars. So Dr. Anderson created this plan. So most of the foods we are eating are what are called low glycemic index foods. They will not cause those spikes in blood sugar. They actually stabilize your blood sugar. It actually stops insulin from being put into the bloodstream. And so your blood sugar stays stable, you stay less hungry, more satisfied. We know the drill. So basically, we want to stick with low glycemic index foods. Dr. Anderson does this fabulous job of spelling out what those are. In the book, there's two places in our Habits of Health book on page on 278 and 279. He lists a list of a lot of different foods you can eat that are 100 calories, low glycemic index. But in our life book, Element 15. He does a fantastic job in identifying our low glycemic index foods. He also created kind of what I call like a stoplight kind of structure. So he's labeled foods like a stoplight: green, yellow, red. Green meaning go, yellow meaning, what does yellow mean? Yield, meaning, yeah, you can run that yellow light. You may get lucky, but don't do it all the time. And red meaning don't, stop, avoid, okay? So he's done this great job of categorizing our low glycemic index foods all in the green. Kind of sound familiar, right? So in your 5-in-1 guide, what color is the pages, the food, and the little categories and the boxes? Green. Everything's green. Green means good, green means go. These are all low glycemic index foods, everything from fruits to vegetables to our grains and proteins. He identifies all the healthy ones that sustain a healthy, long-lasting life. There is a yellow category. It's still lower glycemic index, but not as low as green. And they're safe to use. You'll probably see those foods more in your maintenance phase, but they're safe and healthy in moderation. And then our red section, which is, yeah, no, try to avoid them as much as possible. He actually uses a phrase in there, red is dead. So by staying in that red category for a long period of time and eating those foods out of those red categories will lead to a lot of disease, heart disease, high cholesterol, things we don't want, things we're avoiding. So how awesome is that our program is all figured out, color-coded, simple to understand. Our 5-in-1 is structured all low glycemic index foods, keeps your blood sugar stable, keeps you from getting hungry, all those great things. We got our lean and green down pretty good. We know what we need to do when we're shopping for foods because we know how to plan for a lean and green. Our lean and green are all low glycemic index foods. And, you know, when you list certain ones, your green label foods are your zucchini, your broccoli, green bean, things like that, that don't spike your blood sugars. So we're already following that. But what about our fuelings? Our fuelings are amazing. Our fuelings are all prepackaged, all figured out for us. Perfect calorie amount, interchangeable however we want. And they are, again, low glycemic index fuelings. So you have all this structure, you have all this planned out, but what happens when, okay, I'll give you an example. So I had a client, she's week 3 in the plan. Her husband surprises her, they're gonna go away for the weekend. They're gonna go in a car and drive like 4 hours away. We talked about it a week before, what she's gonna do and how she's gonna do it and how she's gonna plan. And she planned on staying on track. They get in the car, they drive up they're about 2-3 hours out. She realizes her husband didn't pack the bag of fuelings that she was gonna bring. Oh crap, what do you do? So she called me in a panic. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna stay on plan? Well, that's a really good question. That's a hard thing. She doesn't have her books with her. She doesn't have anything. So we talked about, listen, you got the lean and green down. You know what you need for a lean and green, but how would you create fuelings if you had to? Could you recognize low glycemic index foods around 100 calories each that could not be perfect all the time, but maintain you for a small period of time? Dr. Anderson, again, in the Habits of Health book on page 278 and 279, he lists 2 big long lists of foods that are 100 calorie, low glycemic, great choices for what he calls fueling breaks. Now we all have issues, right now with, there's been some shipping issues. Some people have gotten calls from clients, my box is late. Oh my God, I'm running out of fuelings. Well, we have a solution. We can temporarily replace the fuelings with good choices. And you're probably thinking, oh, this is terrible. No, it's part of life. When life throws lemons at you, you make lemonade. Just understand though that lemons are low glycemic index, but lemonade is not, just so you know. So with that said, I kind of thought, well, if I was to walk into a grocery store, how would I structure making fuelings for myself? What would they look like? So the first thing that you have to do is identify our fueling calories and our macronutrients in our fuelings. And we do know, if you've ever looked at the boxes of fuelings, we know that our fuelings range from 100 to 110 calories. They range from 2 to 3.5, maybe 4 grams of fat. There's about 13 to 15 grams of carbs in each fueling. Fiber runs about 4, and protein's around 11. And that's pretty standard across the board. That's your fueling, hands down. So the next job is and something we have to get good at, and not just for this moment, but we have to think later on, because we're going to transition at some point. We're going to have to start reading labels, and we're going to have to start trading out our fuelings, as beloved as they are, for our real foods, and structure our eating accordingly. So what could we do to mimic a fueling in a crisis situation and still kind of stay on plan? So I did a little math. I did a little shopping. So first thing I came up with, I have props. So first thing I found was Too Good yogurt. Anybody familiar with that? I see thumbs up. I know a lot of people like it. So Too Good yogurt. This is a very, very good, healthy, plant-friendly yogurt. In this little container is 80 calories, 2 grams of fat, 3 carbs, 2 sugars, and 12 proteins. Boy, that comes real close to a fueling right there. So that alone, grab and go, eat it, done, fueling done. Now hold on, I've got my lactose intolerant people on, hold on a minute, because don't get caught. This is just one, I've got more to share, because I can see panic in some people's eyes. They're like, I don't eat yogurt, I don't eat this either, but I'm sharing it anyway. So it's 80 calories. So what if we want to kind of match it a little closer to a fueling calorie count? Because we still have to maintain, you know, the calories in our fat burn. So I did a little more research. So I looked in Dr. Anderson's book under element 15, where he talks about low glycemic index fruit. Raspberries, for instance. A cup of raspberries is 64 calories, 14 carbs, 8 grams of fiber, 0 fat, and 1.5 grams of protein, which I did not know raspberries had. We don't need a cup of raspberries, we need a quarter cup. So with this, combined with a quarter cup of raspberries, will give us the 100 calories. It'll add a little bit of carbohydrate, more carbohydrate to this to match a fueling. And it just gives you more of that. This is 100 calories combined with the raspberries. Boom, here's a fueling. So then the next fueling that I was looking at when I was doing my shopping, another thing that Dr. Anderson talks about is natural peanut butter. 1 tablespoon of natural peanut butter is 100 calories. It has 100 calories, 3 grams of carbs, 1 fiber, and 5 grams of protein. That's pretty good. That's a big nutrient bite right there. But who can just eat that alone? Well, we can add celery sticks to that, to add a little fiber, to add maybe another 10 calories. So right there, 3 celery sticks and a tablespoon of nutrient-dense natural peanut butter would make a great fueling choice. Still stays within the calorie amounts. The other thing that I noticed, low-fat string cheese. Okay, 1 piece of a low-fat string cheese is 70 calories, 4 grams of fat, 0 carbs, and 7 grams of protein. That's a pretty good choice. But that alone might not be enough. Again, you can throw in a quarter cup of raspberries with that to bring it up to 100 calories and add a little more carbohydrate to it to kind of balance it out a little bit better, because we do want to have the balance. We get 80 to 100 grams of carbohydrate on our plan. So we definitely can add that in. And all these things we're adding are not subtracted from our lean and green. These are our fuelings. So your lean and green's its own thing. You can add these things because you're creating a mock fueling. So with the low-fat string cheese, you can add, I did the calculation, 7 almonds, which gives you another additional 40 calories, 4 grams of fat, 2.5 grams of carbohydrate, and about a 1.5 of fiber with 3 grams of protein. So like a handful of almonds along with a piece of string cheese makes another great fueling option. So another one that I found, it's 2 tablespoons of hummus with 2 ounces of low sodium boar's head turkey. If you've ever gotten boar's head turkey, it's a pretty substantial piece, and they cut it kind of a little bit thick. So 2 ounces of that, spread your hummus on there. Maybe add just a couple pieces of either spinach or a piece of lettuce or even just sliced tomato. That's going to give you a whopping 120 calories, 2.6 grams of fat, 1.2 grams of fiber, 9 grams of protein. And that's pretty darn close to a fueling as well. These are all low glycemic index choices. These will not spike your blood sugars. These will help keep you on plan as close as possible till you can get to a fueling. Another grab and go are these little packets of tuna, these little cups to go. And this little cup of tuna is, if I'm not mistaken, 70 calories, 1 gram of fat, 0 carbs, and 15 grams of protein packed in this little packet right here. So it's 70 calories. We still have room. We can add 30 to 40 more calories. So we can add a handful of almonds with the tuna by itself. We can add a tablespoon of hummus to it and make kind of like a tuna salad, maybe and put it over a piece of sliced tomato. These are all great great little fueling options. Remember, our fuelings are small. We're not going to be making big meals. These are toteable and they're easy to eat. So you can still eat these. These are great options to use. Another thing I noticed when I was in the grocery store was that you can buy hard-boiled eggs already cooked and packaged. Hard-boiled egg is 70 calories with 5 grams of fat and 6 grams of protein. That's not bad. That alone is a great fueling source. You might want a little extra calories. You can add some almonds to that. You can maybe cut a string cheese in half and eat that with your egg, or have a handful of raspberries with it, and maybe a couple of almonds. There's your other fueling. There was a couple of others that Dr. Anderson had shared. I guess his late wife had a favorite. She really loved a slice of tomato with the hummus and basil. And she would make a couple of those, probably using like 2 tablespoons of hummus on slices of tomato with a slice of basil. I mean, these are really great fueling options that you can use. And the big focus is understanding that these will not spike your blood sugars and cause you to have those swings and keep you in that fat burn state for the most part. They talked about you can do a handful, you can do more than just 7 almonds. If you just want the nuts, 14 almonds packs 85 calories, 8 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbohydrate, 3 fibers, 6 protein. You maybe could add a couple more almonds to that and make that a fueling. And another thing that I came across, this is another one that we keep in the house here. I don't know if you've ever tried the Fairlife protein. So the whole thing, and this is chocolate flavored, they're very good. The whole thing is 150 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbohydrate, 2 sugar, and 30 grams of protein. Now, obviously in the 5-in-1, we couldn't do the whole thing, but if you did half of this, you'd still be getting a lot of protein, bang for your buck. So maybe this and a quarter cup of raspberries or blackberries, or one of the low glycemic index fruits, or even like diced up vegetables. You can do like a couple slices of cucumber and a couple slices of pepper with low fat ranch dressing as well. And again, we're not going to, I would think you wouldn't need to count that toward your condiments or anything. You're trying to add the calories to create a fueling and create the balance in those those macronutrients towards your fuelings. So, we're just trying to get those calories up to 100, because all in total, when you have your 5 fuelings, you should be at least getting 560 calories, 550 to 560 calories a day. So you want to make sure we get these snacks that we're creating to at least 100 calories. I mean, that's basically some of the things I came up with. So basically, we can do that. Another thing I found, I don't know if you guys have ever seen these in the grocery store, you can buy sliced dill pickles. I found them at you guys have Wawa? Raise your hand if you have a Wawa around you, if you know what a Wawa is. It's a convenience store gas station. No, never heard of it? Okay. But they have everything there. Racetracks, convenience stores and supermarkets carry them now. They're little packets, and they don't have to, they're refrigerated, and they're sliced pickles, dill pickles. They're a grab and go. We know we can have pickles as a snack. And so if you're out and about and you have no fuelings on you and it's going to be a few hours, grab a package of those pickles. There's so many easy things you can do to still stay on plan, even though you may not have a fueling on you, or you run out of fuelings, or you need a little something to keep you going. You do have to get creative. And I know we're so spoiled because our fuelings have figured it all out for us and we don't have to think, but keep in mind, we do have to start thinking about our transformation, our maintenance plan. We are going to have to start reading labels and preparing for how we're going to eat on maintenance and stay with the weight loss that we work so hard for. And it's going to take a little bit of practice. And if this is the time that you've got to do it, get it now, get practiced with it. So, because what's better, you got a plan, it works. You don't have a plan, you grab anything. One more thing I'm going to throw out there, Chick-fil-A. Everybody got a Chick-fil-A? My dog's chewing on a fueling right now. Hold on a minute. If you can't give me that, sorry. So Chick-fil-A, You can drive through the drive-through when everybody else is ordering their fried, their French fries and their chicken sandwiches. They sell grilled chicken nuggets. You can get 6, 12, 24. You can get a side salad with that. It's a small little salad. It comes with lettuce, a couple tomato on it. You throw those chicken in there and that little side salad. You can count that as a fueling if you want. It might be a little over calories, maybe not with the 6. I don't even think the 6 little nuggets come to about an ounce or 2. But that's a great option instead of grabbing something out of desperation that's way off plan. And it keeps you in the fat burn. It keeps you with the low glycemic, high protein, low carb. And you feel like you're eating like everybody else because you're going through the drive-through. So that's kind of what I did. I did a little homework on it. I hope some of those ideas help you guys. Anybody have any questions or anything they like to add that is their go-to if they're out of a fueling, or what do they like to do?
We have like about a minute left, so if
I have a question. What is the brand of tuna that you held up? Because I've seen those packets, but some of them have mayonnaise in them.
No, this is just plain chunk white tuna in water, 70 calories, and it's chicken of the sea.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything? Anybody else have anything they do that if they're in a pinch, or seeing anything out there that kind of looks like it would be easy to do if they needed to grab an emergency fueling?
Kim, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I put the Habits of Health call link in the chat. It's going to be about healthy surroundings, element 5 tonight. So, but I think if you read the chat, everyone thought this was so helpful. Especially it's so timely too. Great job, great props.
Yes.
Show and tell, love it.
The too good is the best, just so you know. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
So, well, everyone have a wonderful rest of your evening. Next week we'll see you. Thank you so much, Pam.
Mitzi,
Great
thank
job,
you for your
Pam.
story tonight.
Thanks,
Thank you
Pam.
so
It was
much.
great.
Yes, I know,
So
Mitzi. It's
good.
nice to hear your story. I never knew it.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.